Launch right now. We're just beefing up the YouTube page, so make sure you subscribe, share the videos, check them all out. It's great community radio. We're a part of it. We're keeping you savvy on that First Nations news right across North America. So that's TukkLive Thursdays. We're going to be coming on at a new time, but it's still going to be Thursdays nights, and we'll let you know. Just keep in touch there. So today we're talking about a few things, but we got a special guest coming on at 7:30. Corey Littleshields from the Jesstv Peace Camp down there in Moses Lake in Cardston, just off Highway 5. They're in solidarity against racism and discrimination towards the Blood Tribe, and we'll talk about that. There's been a couple incidents in Cardston. We got a few headlines here that we're going to go through, and so about 7:30 we're going to get to talking about that. So, first of all, let's get to talking. Just recently, there's been a big noise about all the needles that have been found all over town. We had a good talk about this earlier. The program that Arches puts on, I don't know if y'all know about Arches, but Arches is one of the community-based groups here in Lethbridge, Alberta, and they've been distributing needles. Needles for safe consumption, I guess you call that. This goes hand in hand with the safe consumption site and the whole opioid crisis that has been going on here in Lethbridge, Alberta. Big city problems, little town. So the real story that I want to get into, though, is I was on Lethbridge News now, and well, it's been everywhere. People have been talking about it. And this 12-year-old boy, he got pricked by a discarded needle on the way home from school. He's just in middle school, 12 years old. So this was Wednesday, May 30th. This was about a week or so ago, near Stan Seawick Pool on the north side of Lethbridge. So the kid was just walking, and he reaches down on the ground, and he got poked by a needle. Now, the problem is he has to go through a year worth of blood tests for Hep A, B, C, and HIV. Blood tests for an entire year, just a 12-year-old boy. In the meantime, the Lethbridge City Council, just days prior, approved $150,000 just for needle pickup here in the city. And this ain't the first big money that they've given to this cause, actually. Mayor Spearman actually says that the community group Arches recovers up to 97% of the needles it distributes. As well, the needles never leave the site, the injection site here in town. I don't know if that's debatable, but 97%. And the family of this child actually thinks that more needs to be done. For example, a needle exchange program here in Lethbridge. What do you have to say about that, Morty?
There is a needle exchange program.
Yeah.
I think through Stubbs Pharmacy on the south side, they're part of it. You could find all of this information at Arch's website.
Right. Isn't there about 3 needle exchange?
There's 3 needle exchange sites.
Yeah.
But like looking into the history of it, what we have, Arches has outreach workers, and they're the ones in sort of the bright yellow jackets that go out. So they go out and they're handing out condoms. They're out there also just kind of supporting the community. But for a long time, they handed out party packs, what are called party packs. And these are clean needles, crack pipes. There's whole
all that's
a method
like
to
all
cook.
in one pack.
Yeah,
They call them party packs.
Party packs, and the whole intention behind that is so that if you have access to clean needles, then you're not going to be sharing them.
Right.
And if you, Marty Thompson brought this up today. If you look at a used needle versus a clean needle underneath a microscope, a used needle is incredibly dull. It's all jagged, but an unused needle is still sharp. So you end up doing vein damage, and it does a whole lot. It wrecks you a whole lot to be using a needle over and over again. So they have these single-use needles. Now, previous to Arches handing out those needles via the party packs, there wasn't any. There's very little, negligible. The needle use here actually became because of Arches handing out. Street people weren't using them at the time. Heroin wasn't a very big deal, but now we're reaching a population of 100,000 people, and there are much bigger drugs. There's bigger city problems coming in. So the big dealers are not in Lethbridge. They're based out of Calgary, they're based out of bigger cities, and they send people down here, run them, just, you know, quick drop it off to their distributors. Their distributors are on bikes. They're so brazen, they're out there right beside the shelter, near the shelter, and they just drop them off. Guy gets on a bike and boom, he zips away. And so there's not a, it's actually really, there's no connection to the big drug dealers out there. You're not going to crack down on them. You're not going to wait for them to entrap them. Like, you're not going to get on the ball. It's these small time distributors. It's actually really slick, and they're out there doing it. Now, the problem with the safe consumption site that people have with it is that they say they're enabling drug use.
Right.
But that, let's look at the reality of it. The safe consumption site paid for itself when it saved one person. As soon as one person was saved from the safe consumption site, the whole millions of dollars they put into it, one person was saved from OD. That paid for itself right there. So in the first 2 weeks of their having the safe consumption site, I believe they had around 89 clients, and in the first 2 weeks they saved 8 people. No, 4 people in the first 2 weeks from overdose.
Right.
Now, at the same time, at Streets Alive Mission, in 2 nights, 8 people. So in 2 weeks for the safe consumption site, 4 people were saved, but in 2 nights, 8 people. 5 one night, 3 another night. And that's from numbers that I got from a guy that actually works there.
Okay.
So the reality is the safe consumption site is there saving lives, and it's actually saving taxpayer dollars. It's saving money, because when you really think about it, you have, let's say, one outfit for an ambulance and firefighters. When you call 911, the paramedics go. So that's a fire truck and an ambulance. So the ambulance gets there. There's 3 to 4 workers in the ambulance. In the fire truck, there's 4 to 6 people in the fire truck. So you're paying 9, 10 people's wages to go out there,
Right.
for one thing. You're paying maintenance on the trucks. So easily for each outfit to operate that per year, you're getting into the hundreds of thousands of dollars easily just in one outfit. And so when you don't have a centralized site, they're driving all over the city all the time to be dealing with overdoses. Whereas with having the safe consumption site in one place, then all of the overdoses are localized. Not all of them, a lot of them are. A lot of people's lives are being saved because of that. However, it's my personal opinion that they don't need to hand out the party packs of needles anymore. And somebody got after me saying that they didn't, but then today I was in a meeting, but then I got information from one of the outreach workers who's a volunteer, who's one of the Yellow Jackets.
That's kind of
They
what I
hand
was
them
going to
out.
ask you next. Like, the needles that are out there being found in the alleyways and the playgrounds and parking lots, you know, everywhere, these needles are being handed out by a community organization, right?
In part.
In part. Well, where else are they going to get these needles? They're all free.
There's a federal and provincial mandate to hand out needles for drug use. So this is actually beyond city council. Like, a lot of people are getting mad at the mayor,
Yeah.
and they're getting mad at city council for this, for these needles going out into the community. But there's actually a federal and provincial
Well,
mandate
like we
to have
talked,
them out there.
you mentioned enabling a little bit. So what would you say to someone who told you that Arches is the one that's contributing to the needle problem in Lethbridge?
Well, I think that, well, I said it before, that people really weren't using needles until they're handing out needles. And I
Right.
kind of wonder if that was, I wonder if on Arch's side they didn't know that there wasn't a lot of injecting going on.
Like maybe a casual drug user just happened to have a clean needle, or someone around him had a clean needle, and they just decided, okay, today I'm going to try it this way.
Well, I mean, for a personal user, yeah, probably. After needles started getting into the community, then you saw people start to inject alcohol directly. They started to inject meth directly.
Yeah.
And all the little bits of drugs that they get, they started injecting that directly once access to needles were there.
Right.
And
yeah.
it gets you a super high. Like it's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you want to check more,
Arches is a good organization, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Bottom line, Arches is doing a great job. They're saving lives. The safe injection site has saved numerous lives since it's been open, as well. So we can't ignore that fact as much as we want to talk about it. It's just a hot topic right now, and I feel bad for the little 12-year-old boy. I got a 12-year-old daughter at home, and for something like that to happen, it would break my heart. And I feel for the parents of this little boy out there on the north side, and it also makes me very angry as well. So, but I'm glad we got a chance to talk about that. It's all over the place. Look it up. You can go to the TukkLive Facebook page. It's all over there. The last show here on Jessfm, they had to talk about it. So, next story, we're moving on to May 14th. This is a bit of a happy story. Riel Houle from the Begunny Nation, he's the founder of the Pale Horse TP Camp. And on May 14th, he took a 2-day drive to Toronto for a chance to be on Dragon's Den. Season 13, this fall on CBC. Check it out. So, Houle's camp offers a 2-night stay for tourists interested in Blackfoot culture. He sends them to the, they go to the Head Smashing Buffalo jump site. They camp out there on the reserve. And basically, my point is he's heading out for a chance to be on Dragon's Den. One of my favorite shows. You watch Dragon's Den?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Gives me good ideas, actually. Another story happening right now. This is from June 1st, also on cbc.ca. Billboards in Saskatchewan and across Canada are featuring the artwork of 50 female First Nations artists. These boards are electronic, so as drivers pass, they scroll through the 50 works. It's a national billboard campaign, and it's entitled Resilience. This was unveiled on Friday, June 1st, 2018. Curator Leanne Morton says the project is to create awareness that Indigenous women artists do this work that's diverse and complex. Now, I saw one of the pictures. If you go check out our TukkLive page, one of the pictures looks like this Wonder Woman, and she's standing on skulls. And I want to get to the page right now. And it's modeled after the artist's mother, who she called the toughest woman in the hood, which I think we could all call our mothers, hey, coming out of the hood. So this is happening all across Canada. There's actually a big art contest right now for all you artists who want to get involved. I think it's age 16 to 29. I'm just trying to look up the link here. Yeah, the art contest is at, it's called We Are All One. It's artistsagainstracism.org/contests. So go take a look at that. The deadline is June 1st, 2018. So let me just look it up right here. It's at cbc.ca. Toughest chick in the hood. The picture is this Wonder Woman looking woman who has like a breastplate on. She's standing on skulls, and it says "Stop the Silence," and it's about violence against women. It's just one of the great pieces of artwork that are being shown in this campaign. Have you taken a look at this? Have you heard about it?
Which one?
This here. Have you seen this?
Resilience?
Yeah, Resilience.
No, I haven't seen this.
It's sort of a.
I don't use Facebook.
It's not just on Facebook. It's on everything. It's everywhere. It's across Canada. Right here, Saskatchewan artist pays homage in his billboard campaign. So yeah, it says the images that Prairie Longman, this image is emblematic of the strength of her mother, whom she depicted as she took part in a national billboard campaign entitled Resilience. And Longman is one of the 50 female artists involved. She describes her mom like this. She says she was feisty until the day she passed, just the way she knew how to survive. She said her mother lived through the trauma and injuries inflicted by the residential schools. That's a whole nother can of worms right there. Yeah. So resilience, and I think the focus is on our women right across Canada. The missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls inquiry is going on right now. I think the next one's in Quebec if it hasn't already happened. The last one was in Calgary, and this has a lot to do with that, featuring our female artists out there in Indian country. So where are we at here? So what time do we got, Morton?
It's 7:25 in the PM.
7:25 in the PM. Okay. All right, so we're gonna take a short music break here. We're gonna play a track for you on the Jessfm.ca app. Make sure you download the Jessfm